favor, yay. If there's a nay, thumbs down.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, it passes.
Yay.
And then
Yay.
we decided to go to public comment, where if we have anybody in the public that wants to make a comment at this time. Did we have anything, Jared?
I had one individual interested, but I do not see anyone on as attendees or otherwise. I haven't seen any other emails to my attention, etc. So they just asked what time the meeting was, and I provided that for them. So no, I have no public comment at this time.
Okay, then we'll go on to new business, which is resolution 3 for the Idaho Springs Downtown Master Plan. And we're looking for approval on that to pass on to City Council. And I'll let Jared take that.
All right, sorry, the live stream took me a couple seconds longer than I thought. Thank you all for attending this meeting this evening. Before you, we have a final draft of the downtown master plan that we've worked on over the past several months. It started back in May with a kind of a kickoff, and then we've been working through the draft plan this fall. We've had a number of comments, and a lot of those comments were able to be implemented into the document. We have Jane Bostic from Studio Seed with us here this evening, and she's going to give you a bit more of an overview of the changes to the document. So, Janie, take it away.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cindy.
Oh, no, I just saw you now. Nice to see you. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. So I couldn't think really of a better way I don't have a presentation, but I thought I could just flip through the document and point out what we addressed. So I will just share my screen here. Is everybody seeing? Oh, wait, I have to click share. There we go. Yeah, now we go. Okay, so we have a cover page now, looking more and more like a final document. So this was just something we changed the tense of a sentence because it was, the plan should say it was adopted, considering that it goes to City Council in December. So in red are all the things we changed. So just in the intro, they're not major things, but we updated the timeline to show the work sessions that we had with you all and City Council. And the final adoption being expected in December. We added language about how the plan focuses on downtown, but affects the entire community. I think this was one of your comments from last meeting. We updated the graphic just because we talk about some of these other extended things. We thought it was better to kind of zoom out and see the context. So that wasn't really a comment, but something that we did, just thinking that it would be better to see the context of the city and how the downtown relates to that. Ursula, this was your, we added kind of an overarching theme for the plan for environmental stewardship, and I welcome any, you can review that, and if you don't like the language, just let us know, but it kind of says that every project, moving forward should consider the environmental impacts as an overarching theme for the plan. Let's see, we added pictures. This was another thing that came up, I believe, last meeting, but adding language about the goal of the plan really is to get visitors to businesses and keep them out of the neighborhoods, so that the residents know that, the goal of this plan is really to lessen the impacts on them, as well as drive more business to downtown and get those benefits as well. Let's see. Activation of parking structure was a comment that we added in. This was a major one. So we added the catalyst. We elevated the circulator transit to a catalyst project. So there's some new language about that, and then some fun pictures. And we put together kind of a concept of how a circulator could run through downtown. So I think this is really useful moving forward, and provides you with some guidance on both, short-term improvements and opportunities, as well as long-term infrastructure improvements. We addressed the oversized vehicles, RVs, and trailers, and how there needs to be clear, concise signage and locations for them to park so that they're not clogging up downtown circulation. Address deliveries and how they should be accommodated in any future changes. Added language about saving healthy trees, making sure to save those wherever feasible in any future designs so that we're not losing healthy tree canopy. We added language regarding signage and wayfinding and lighting plan. And in the future Minor Street configuration, there was the comments that we addressed were ramps to meet the elevations of historic buildings, loading, unloading, and providing ADA spaces when that travel lane is allowed, so that there are spaces for people to park that can't walk long distances. And then we addressed, so the consideration of a one-way on Minor Street was looked at, and ultimately what HDR provided was a direction for keeping it two-way, and the ability to study that later, knowing that this is a plan, and when it goes into future design, we don't want to preclude that you could study that in more detail, but the recommendation as of now is to keep it two-way. Updated the graphic, although I noticed this before the meeting. I think I forgot to actually change the graphic. So we need to update this graphic to show those spaces, those interim spaces for parking and loading along Minor Street. Apologize about that. We added language about vendors along the alleys that promote or provide space for entrepreneurs and people that maybe can't afford a full brick and mortar space, and to prioritize those for locals and the youth in the community. And finally, this is the final comment we added was, and it was just a unique public comment that came in that I thought was worth adding, is to consider, in terms of land use, the opportunity for a unique camping or glamping experience near downtown, like a European model. Idaho Springs is very unique. There isn't much hospitality available, so it might be an opportunity to consider. And I think those were the major comments, other than filling up the document with all kinds of new precedent images and things to inspire that relate to the overall concepts. So I think that's it. If you have any questions or comments, and Jared, you'll have to kick me off of screen sharing again.
Okay, I know we had a lot of questions in the last one, and then the remarks, and it seems like you've hit all of them. Is there any of them that any of us were asking that somebody's noticed that we've missed? Seems pretty thorough. Any other questions for?
Was everybody hard and fast on having that camping part in the plan?
No, I don't know if that came from our comments. Cheney, did you do this before council with a planning group also? A presentation?
Yeah, that comment was actually from the public. Jared, do you remember? I think it was a person that was on a board or commission and involved in downtown.
Correct. So it was a separate comment from not the city council, but a separate board. who took some interest in the plan and reviewed it and was, I think, thinking about trailers and things, finding parking spots, but then also kind of rolling that into the potential for some form of campsite amenity. So that is something that, staff certainly isn't opposed to, but finding space for it's going to be challenging. So
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, and because of that alone, I don't think it should be in there. I just think it's opening a door that really the probability is very, very low that camping in the downtown or truly any part of town is probably not going to happen. That being said, we know that there have been RV parks outside of the city limits that have been proposed, and for that I'm very grateful. I would love to see those happen, but this is talking about specifically a downtown and
No,
the surrounding.
no,
No?
not within the downtown boundaries, somewhere within walking
No.
distance or
What-
or
and it-
trolley.
And again, I mean, knowing the properties, it's very unlikely that that's going to be within walking distance. So again, you guys make the decision. I'm just bringing up the topic.
Yeah,
tend
and
to
I don't
agree
think
with-
they gave any specifics, but I think it's like maybe thinking about like the ball fields or something like that that's near-ish.
I guess I tend to agree with what Kate's saying. That kind of caught me off guard too, seeing that in there. Because I think the last thing that we're all envisioning is glamping, camping, or anything probably within city limits. I guess the first thing I think of, does it open the door to homeless camps or something like that, where somebody may misconstrue it or misinterpret it, which you're seeing a lot of that happen in Denver neighborhoods. And I don't know if that's even a possibility, but I think it does open a door for having that comment in there. Jared?
good. I think that comment that was received was twofold. And so I wonder if we couldn't potentially still talk about the desire for finding a place to park with a trailer or something, so you could still enjoy the amenities of the downtown as a visitor, not so much as a camping site. But I've heard that from a number of other individuals. Once again, space is definitely a challenge. We know that there's a number of people that do pull campers, trailers, etc., that would like to stop and frequent the downtown. So that comment kind of took both of those items, just straight up parking for larger vehicles, and then it also expanded it. So depending on what the Plan Commission thinks, we could focus it more on the short-term parking of a trailer or a camper or something.
I think I understand it meaning what you're meaning with the parking, but I'd rather see it stay with just the parking, make an availability for parking, not so much where a person thinks they can put up their camper, and even a self-contained camper, and then stay there for a couple nights. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's what people would want to see.
I agree. So the places that I've seen this happen, excuse me, places like Walmart that do allow camping overnight in their parking lots. I mean, it is for convenience of, I'm driving through. You're not staying at the Evergreen Walmart because you're going to walk around the neighborhood and look at the sites. The things that I do notice by those kind of camping situations is the refuse that's left behind and the human waste that's left behind. And honestly, right now, I don't think we're prepared to police that, and nor does our police department, and our parks have the resources to do that. That means noting every camper that's staying overnight. We have to make accommodations. We have to have restroom, available overnight. It's just a lot of little things, and in my mind, it's just opening a can of worms that totally we can open later. But right now, it's just not something I think is appropriate right now.
Yeah, and I think it's fine to remove it. It's not within the scope of downtown. I was just trying to address all the comments, and in the defense of the person that submitted the comment, they did have, an extended idea about the concept being, kind of privately run, that it would have accommodations, restrooms, facilities like that. So they had a very
I-
specific.
And I do love that idea. It's just it's the nomadic version of it where there's no control that I think
Yeah.
that is the concern.
Okay.
I would like to share my opinion on that. I also I understood it like it was something like a private property where someone will manage it, not just like an open field where we tell people, oh, you can go there and do whatever you want, kind of thing. I feel like if it's a private business or a local that has some property, I mean, probably not walkable. I agree with that. But nearby that people can have that option to do some glamping. I think that's fun, is different, is unique. We're in the mountains. I think as long as it's a private thing, I don't think the city will just approve anything that is not permitted. And to be permitted, we don't allow things that people just can go and camp, right? And create a homeless campground. I don't think that's a real worry.
But
One of the first things a person's
there's a
gonna-
whole new movement of hip camp, and hip camp means that I could have 12 acres on Pine Slope, and I could hip camp all 12 acres of that, and because it's zoned that way, and we've allowed that, the planning commission has no say in that. And that doesn't mean that my hip camp is up to any sort of code. We don't have anything in our code about hip camping or renting out those kind of properties. And that's all I'm saying. We're getting the cart before the horse in this particular situation.
Well, I think if you made it just like you have car parking, somebody could pull into town and stay for a few hours and walk around town, and then they have to leave. We're not talk about opening up a campground, which is giving people with a trailer or a motorhome a chance to stop and visit and then continue on their way. That's kind of what I had in mind.
Yeah, I
That's
think
not
Jared
what the
has a,
word camping means, though.
you guys, I think Jared has a comment, and I was gonna add one more thing is, first of all, what's gonna happen to anybody with a property is they're gonna have to meet the zoning requirements. And right now, none of our zoning requirements would allow this. So I think, I don't think it's necessary for it to be in there. This is a plan. This is a plan that the city council is gonna adopt. And we all know what happens with the plan. It can change at any time. It's gonna change over the years. But at this point, I mean, everyone else needs to speak too, but I think it's best to take it out. Jared, did you have more comments you were gonna add?
Yeah, just that that provision can stay or go in the plan. I did want to make the comment though that, and you kind of stated it already, but zoning want to allow for that if that visionary item that we would want to encourage, we could build a code around it. But as of right now, that's certainly not code. And like I mentioned, if we wanted to do a visionary item, and that's what the plan is, and so I just, oh, sorry.
I keep losing them. Are you guys losing them?
Yeah, we lost the last piece of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
It said my internet was marginal, so I do apologize. Normally it's soft. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep. I think we got it all, that it could be added to the plan later.
Yes. I'm going to turn my camera off for a while in the hopes that
I just want to mention that there are several things on this master plan that we need to make changes on the code. Kind of like with this one.
Okay, what is it you mean? I mean, right now, this is a plan. This doesn't mean this is what it's gonna happen in the next year or something. It's just a plan that is guiding people to move forward on. What kind of codes are you thinking?
We're talking about creating opportunities for housing, infill housing in the community, and we will have to modify the code for that to happen. So, I mean, I'm just referring, like, it's not like, oh, we have to modify the code, we can't add that. I feel like we're adding other things there. We need to modify the code for to be able to happen. So I personally don't see a huge issue on that. I mean, I don't know, I guess I'm not super like, oh, has to stay in there, but I don't see an issue with it staying. As long as it's, I mean, I don't think anything in this plan it's intended to be illegal or just unmanaged, you know. Everything here, the intention is to be professional and well built, well designed.
Okay, other comments? So this now will go to city council. What we do is we either recommend or don't recommend the resolution as written. When the motion's made, it can be referred to as a recommendation. And if there's stipulations in it to take something out or add to it at that time when we make the motion. Are we ready for a motion on it? Somebody want to make the motion on it?
I have a couple other things that I found in the document that I'm not sure if Jeannie wants to hear about. Okay, so the first one I think is the one that is actually the important one is I just saw on page 40, you have the map and the legend says existing and future public parking. And then you have marked the space behind behind Carlson. And I don't, that's not existing parking. So I don't know if you have to just do a slash instead of and or whatever.
And or, yeah.
And then the other last thing is that you're aware that on a couple two spaces you have appendix X or something X. No, those are little things that sometimes escape. So there's one.
Yeah, I can do a search for that. So there's references to an appendix. Okay.
Yeah, there's one on page 38 and another one on page 32, and that's it. And that's all
Awesome.
I got.
Thank you for that.
44 as well.
Oh,
thank you. Okay, yeah, we can make those changes.
Hey, Jared, anything else on this?
No, I have no other comments in regards to the plan. We're certainly happy for all the work that all the community members have put into this, Studio Seed and their consulting team as well, the Plan Commission, City Council. And yeah, by all means, you can build a motion to recommend or not the plan, and you can always have conditions in that motion. So absolutely.
I'll make a motion to recommend approving the resolution recommending the downtown master plan to the city council.
I guess I'll second it.
Hey, any comments?
I'm not gonna approve it without that, the removal of the camping comment.
Okay, and that was going to be my comment that, did we want to exclude the camping phrase in the document? My thought is if we removed it, is there a way to enhance the verbiage of where people can park with campers, and that be the compromise of enhancing that and taking out the other part of the comment in the document?
Don't they have already a spot for like larger parking vehicles?
It's in the document. It is one of the items she did address and add
Yes,
to it.
that's what I'm saying. I think that's already addressed then.
Right. What I'm saying is the compromise with it maybe enhancing some verbiage to that, and taking out the other comment.
Can I ask a question, Jared? If we keep the glamping option there, does that mean that we have to change the code immediately or to allow that?
No.
Or what's the timeline or what's the situation with that?
Oh, no, definitely not. So if you keep that provision, it really kind of comes down to the implementation matrix, which talks about code updates in general. And then we, and that's something that we would phase in over time and prioritize those as well, because not all those code updates would occur right away. So that is something that we certainly would have more discussion on in the future.
I feel like that's a decent compromise. I mean, I don't know. I think it's fine and we don't have to deal with it right away. We can talk about it, kind of the same as we can add it later. Same as, I think it's very similar, but.
Yours came on. There again, we're still in discussion. We do have a motion out there. I do think it needs to remove. I think it's something that we have to look at. We're giving our recommendation to council. I would be assuming that the comment may come up with council also, and it not passing at that time, which I look at the role of the planning commission is to give them the best document that they would be approving and supporting our decision. So I think we'd be kind of amiss if we were giving it to something that we didn't, or some of us didn't feel should be in it. Tracy, you had your hand up, a comment?
That was the very thing I was going to say. I'm nearly certain this would get flagged by council. And so if this document if it's intended for it to go through the approval process smoothly, I think striking this language would be pretty critical at this point.
Okay,
Could
so
city
we
council strike it themselves?
yes, city council can, but we should be looking at giving them a document that we're supporting and
City
having
council
their approval.
should be supporting planning commission's decision.
Yes.
It shouldn't be going into a complete over review of this document. That is the trust that they have instilled in us.
Right.
Let's vote then.
Okay, no amending the motion. You want to vote on it as is.
If it doesn't pass, someone else can make another motion.
Well, once the motion fails, it fails, right? Yeah.
Yes, it fails, and then someone else can make another motion.
Okay. Kate's shaking her head.
Yes, because that is the case. If you so choose, you can vote on this motion. If it does fail, you would be able to make another motion and vote on that, because we do have to have something in the affirmative. So this is not denying or recommending denial of the resolution. That would have to be its own motion to recommend denial of the actual resolution. So yes, you could, if you so chose, go through, one motion that may pass or two motions.
Okay, so I guess with that, so the motion is with the plan as is, with the verbiage of the glamping in the document. Roll call.
All right. Patty Tyler.
Oh, Patty's not.
Oh, Patty, sorry. I'm in the wrong board. Tracy Stokes.
Something I challenge anyone to archery. You may regret it. We have something else.
I can't hear.
A lot of
It's like I
background
need
noise,
to-
sorry.
He or something.
So
Tracy?
my vote is no as is.
Don Reimer.
I'd say yes. Yes, that is.
Kate Collier.
No as is.
Uchi,
Yes.
Councilman Shaw.
Cindy, Moulton?
Single line.
I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
As is,
No.
somebody's background music.
Did you say no? I'm sorry. One more time.
Yes, I said no. No, yeah, no.
No, as is.
No, no, no.
Oh,
Chuck Howard.
No, as is.
And did we need the alternate?
Jordan
Well,
Hudson.
We did, Jordan, I'm the alternate and Jordan should vote. Is that
Yeah.
not correct?
Yep.
Jordan Hudson.
Sorry, I have to unmute both these things. No, as is.
Okay. Thank you.
Regardless, with or without, the alternates, the motion would have failed at this point. So
I'm just
we
gonna say
can,
we didn't.
move on. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, just stating that the alternates were, it didn't matter whether we count them or not. The motion failed.
Great. Okay, so now I'll entertain another motion. Or it fails.
I'll make a motion to approve the downtown planning development plan with the caveat that the parking, hostel, and other low-income hospitality in or near downtown is removed.
Okay, a second.
I will second that.
Okay, now we're back to discussion. So the discussion is taking out that verbiage and moving the resolution towards council. Okay, roll call.
Okay. Jordan Hudson.
Yes.
Wait, sorry, before voting, no, do we vote and then discuss? Yeah, right? Or no?
Oh, I
No,
just asked for discussion before we were voting.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I was looking for this part. Can we only, okay, will you be willing to modify your, what is this?
Motion?
Motion, thank you. To just do camping, because I mean, hostels and other low hospitality, I mean,
I gotta tell you, I
Hotels.
actually, I have no problem modifying, and I'll tell you why. But again, this is gonna come before the planning commission, and I think it's just another thing that you guys really have to get the details in place, that low income, accommodations and what that means isn't, to my knowledge, in our code. So I'm just saying, hey, why don't we just remove it for this moment, get it in the code, and then you guys can add it back as is whenever you want. You can modify this document. It's a live document. So Uchi, I'm not saying I'm always going to strike this down. I'm just saying right now as a whole, until you guys have that parameters of what those things all mean, because in a weird way, these are 4 different entirely kinds of units. So I don't think we can glam them all together and say, okay, this rule will apply for all. And I'm also not saying forever and ever, I'm going to vote against that. So I would, and I could, but I think right now, because we don't have anything else in place, that I'd like it to remain as it is. If
so
that's-
the reason I was saying that is because that the studies say that we need to find more hotels and that kind of stuff in the area, and that's why I mentioned it. But it's your motion.
No, and I would say strongly from planning commission and council that going into the future, whoever suggested having this something new to our area, it's brilliant. But let's find out what they want and let's make sure that we can accommodate it. And that's all I'm saying. I am by no means, whoever this was, it was a great idea. And I think that we need to further study it.
Okay, any more discussion? And we'll go back to roll call. Wonder?
Shall I start fresh roll call again?
Yeah.
Okay. Jordan Hudson.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna question. So the motion is the same as Kate motioned, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Jordan
Yes.
is yes. Uchi,
Yes.
Cindy Olson,
Yes.
Chuck Howard,
Yes.
Kate Collier,
Yes.
Don Reimer,
Yes,
Tracy Stokes.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the motion carries this time. Thank you, you guys. I just believe that we give council something that we hope they support with us and aren't questioning us, and it's something that passes when we give a recommendation. So if we have to pick it apart and this takes longer, I think that's a good thing. So, okay, with that, the next agenda item was Community Development Monthly Report. So Jared.
Yes. Thank you very much. Before you this evening is just my monthly report that goes over items that the planning division, maybe I shouldn't even call it that, I have been working on, and then also some other activities. So I've been working on, of course, the downtown master plan with Cheney and her team. Some of the code updates, apologize. Some of the code updates, I felt it was better to get our focus kind of put back together after the holidays. So I'm proposing to bring something before you more along the February timeframe, as we had this larger document to review quickly. And then January, my proposal is to not have a meeting because currently we don't have any other items that are pressing. So my goal is to work on things over the next couple of months and bring you something in February. I've also been talking with the developer of Block 57. So they are hard at work on their file development plan and intend to bring that before you in the future as well in 2022. So Creek Highlands, we've also been working with developers there on their plans to build 45 single-family homes. And then the Meyer Street Marketplace, you may have noticed, has gone to a one-way configuration over the winter. There are some businesses on the north side of the street that are taking advantage of barricades that the city has purchased, and they will continue to have some outdoor spaces for predominantly restaurant uses. So we intend to keep that into either late spring or early summer of 2022. And then there was also a historic preservation also had approved a certificate of appropriateness for renovations to windows and doors of City Hall. With that, I'd ask if you have any questions.
Nope. Which way is the one way again?
Yes, it's headed eastbound. So if you get off of 240, you turn onto Minor Street, you can head eastbound that way.
I didn't even notice it when I pulled in town.
It just occurred
Today.
It just occurred today was the first day that we've reopened. We've been working with the businesses for a number of months, but the goal was to remove the items from their spaces if they didn't want winter operations by over Monday and Tuesday. So by today, have that ready to be opened back up.
Okay. And then you said we weren't going to have a January meeting. So our next meeting, the way I understand it from talking to Andy is, well, the way our bylaws were written or how we did it, the next alternate moves up. Kate will have to resign her position. And then does it go to council? No, it doesn't have to go to a council for that person to move up, but they'll be advertising for another alternate because then Tracy's the other alternate, right?
That is correct. Yes, we will be advertising here shortly. We have a couple of positions across all the boards to be filled. And so we'll be working on that. And So, and we're going to post that notice here very soon and see if anyone is interested. So please, yeah, if you have any thoughts, suggestions, otherwise, happy to take those.
So that means we'll have, Kate won't be at our next meeting, so thank you, Kate, for helping us along and your
Hey, it
commitment
was
to doing
16 years,
this.
guys. It was a pleasure working with all of you guys and all former planning commissioners. I hope to be appointed as the kind of like being able to watch your meetings and report back to council so that there's kind of a nice fluid, line between both of us. But again, I can't tell you, it's with great, great sadness that I am leaving this planning commission because I truly, truly think that we've done some amazing things over the years and you guys are going to do some amazing things going into the future. So thank you very much for all your help in getting me to where I was.
Thank you, Kate, and good luck. Okay, with that, we'll adjourn the meeting for December 1st. All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.